listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, and welcome to Alive Again on Pet Life Radio. My name is Brent Atwater. I'm the animal medium, and I'm known as the world's authority on animal life after death and pet reincarnation. Why, you say? Well, it's because I can look inside a body and see the life force energy patterns to let you know if your pet is a comeback kid. One of the things we're going to do today is to address the Rainbow Bridge. Now, the Rainbow Bridge is a place where most people think that all their pets go. And there's a set of stairs going up the heaven to Rainbow Bridge, but there's not one coming back. And that bothers me because the Rainbow Bridge is only half the story. I'd love for you to visit our Facebook page called Return from Rainbow Bridge. We have poems for cats, dogs, horses, a generic return poem, and all of these are translated into multiple languages. In addition to that, we have videos for you to watch in multiple languages of these poems so that you can visually look at it and feel in your heart the energy that your pet might come back. And it's really healing if you're suffering from the loss of a pet. So the first thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to read, and I hope I have fairly good skills at this. I may not, but since I'm the author, I'll do the best I can. I'm going to read The Dog's Return from Rainbow Bridge. When a dog dies, his soul transitions to a special place in heaven. It's called the Rainbow Bridge. There, he is alive and well, a part of never-ending love. He is healed, whole, and restored. He sniffs special friends, meets family, and hugs loved ones. They chase one another, play, and bark together. There's plenty of food and treats and chewies and balls and bones and sunshine. Everyone is warm and safe and comfortable in their very own bed. Your dog visits you in dreams with memories of the special times you've shared. He's happy and content, except for one thing. He misses that special bond he had with you that he had to leave behind. He sends signals to let you know he is always thinking about you and watching over you. His soul is always by your side. He's never stopped loving you. Then the day comes when your dog wants to be back. There are promises to keep. He wiggles and sparkles with intent. It's time to return to Earth. You both have agreed it's time for him to return to Earth. His energy vibrates faster and faster, forming a heart to be loved. He feels the pull of your prayers and your yearning. He's strengthened by the power of your belief in never-ending love. Full of hope and faith, he leaves behind the safety of Rainbow Bridge. His soul begins the search for the haven of your heart. In perfect timing, that moment arrives. Time stands still as you look into each other's eyes. Your heart is etched with a feeling of recognition. Cautiously, you move forward, filling the gaps that complete your bond. Your touch caresses his beloved velvet head. All sadness is gone. Your heart is whole again. Your dog has returned from Rainbow Bridge. Together to begin with you another journey in the eternal cycle of life. Your love is here. It is now, and it is forever and always. And that's the way we feel about pets coming back from return from Rainbow Bridge. So if you want a copy of this poem, you can go to our Facebook page, Return from Rainbow Bridge, and it will have all the copies of the videos. It will have all the copies of the poems for shelter dogs too, or you can come join our Facebook group, Animal Reincarnation. It's the #1 resource for pet loss in the world. And we've got about 51,200 people as of today's count, and it's still growing. It grows in leaps and bounds every day. But if you have a question, and we had a wonderful, interesting comment from a lady who just joined us from Jamaica, because our group is global, and we are just blessed by people all over the world who are having and suffering the pain of pet loss, come into our group. And the lady from Jamaica, it's touched my heart. She said, "I'm so glad to have found you to be able to talk about this out loud." She said, "Because in my country, if I mention this to my friends, they think I'm cuckoo." And that's one of the things that a lot of people have said to us, that if you believe in a return from Rainbow Bridge, that you're a little bit crazy. But you're not. It's a fact. I have researched it for almost 20 years. I've written 4 books, and there's the newest version of Animal Reincarnation, Answers for All of Your Heart's Question, is now up to 185 pages. Because what I do is I take questions from the group, which we're going to address in the second half of this show, and I answer the questions that people's hearts have put forth about reincarnation, about signs from their pets, about how to connect with their pets, and all sorts of realms and edges and fringes of the questions you want to know about pet loss, transition, and reincarnation. So stay with us. We'll see you on the other side of the sponsor.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
It's dinner time in America, where more pet parents trust PetSmart for natural and expert-recommended foods than any place else. And now, we've added more than 100 new varieties to our already wide selection of your favorite brands, like Simply Nourish, Authority, Wellness, Science Diet, and more. Do what's best for your pet. At PetSmart, happiness in store.
Go to PetSmartDeal.com to find out this week's coupon code and save up to 30% on food, treats, toys, and more. And get free shipping on orders of $49. Go to PetSmartDeal.com. PetSmartDeal.com.
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket.
Awesome.
Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Hi, this is Teody Anderson, and I'm the host of Get Positive Results on Pet Life Radio. We're going to talk about a variety of topics on canine behavior and training, all based on modern methods that are fun for you and your dog. We might be talking about other critters, too. So join us on Get Positive Results. We'll talk about common issues between you and your dog, answer your questions, discuss different activities you can do with your dog, and keep you posted on current canine news and products. All this on Get Positive Results on Pet Life Radio.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Some of the questions that I want to address today from people in our group, which if you'd like to send us questions that you have now, one of the things I do need to clarify. This is not about you sending in questions that are personal reading questions like, will my pet reincarnate? Or, is he coming back to me? Where will I find him? How will I find him? If you want to do that, then you need to book a professional reading with me or another animal communicator, although my specialty is animal reincarnation. And if you want to see how I do that, you can go to my YouTube page, and I've got several videos that will tell you what I do in a reading, how I do them, and I've, of course, recorded several of my reactions to some of the special readings that I've had. And I'm going to be continually adding to that YouTube base, so stay tuned over there. And those shows we link to our radio shows. Now, if you want to know immediately about our radio shows, you can come to PetLifeRadio.com, or on Facebook, you can join our Pet Life Radio Facebook page, and you'll see it says Pet Life Radio, the animal medium, Brent Atwater, and we post our shows immediately as soon as Mark puts them up, and you'll be able to see them there. Or you can stay on Pinterest, and you can find us over there because we also post all the shows over on Pinterest. Now, if you can't find the books because they're available all over the world, you can find them on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, Kindle, Sony, Kobo, all of the major distributors, Smashword, iBooks, iTunes, they're all there. So just like Pet Life Radio, we're everywhere. And if you can't afford them, we're even in the libraries. So you can't say, well, I can't afford a book. Yes, you can. Go to some of the libraries, download our books, and you can read them for free. And I do invite you to do that if you have questions, because most people, when they read the book, Animal Reincarnation, say, I feel differently about death now. And Animal Reincarnation takes death and shape-shifts and walks you through the process of death from a new perspective. And you come away looking at death with a more positive and linked into the eternal life circle. And it gives you a sense of calmness and understanding about what went on, and that assuages your grief some. So most people say that it helps with their grief because it takes the fierce edge off of it, and it gives them a greater understanding and a greater knowledge of what's going on, which in turn lessens their grief, and they're not as frantic about it, and they're softer in their response to the death, although, of course, it tore their heart out because they've lost their pet. So today I'm going to answer a few questions, and we had from Erna in Belgium. She wants to know do pets that come back, reincarnated or comeback kids we call them, recognize their name and their old surroundings? Well, yes, they do. We have a chapter in the book on just everything, recognizing the environment. We even had an English Spaniel puppy, which was fabulous. He was a comeback kid, and the owner had changed from one home to the other. He had bought a new home, and as they drove by the old home, the puppy tried to get out of the window because he recognized that as his own old home. And it was really eye-opening to the owner and also confirming. So when they got to the new home, the puppy, of course, made himself at ease among the toys and the beds and everything that he recognized from before. So yes, an animal does recognize their old surroundings, and they also do recognize their name. And I'll give you this as an example. When I got Friend, my dog with a B on his bottom, and those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, again, go to YouTube, my channel, Brent Atwater, and you'll see that I have a dog named Friend who has a 20-inch B on his bottom. And if you want to friend me on Facebook, I'm constantly putting up Friend and his little B bottom. But that's what started my journey into animal reincarnation and started my studies, in addition to the loss of my fiance. So Friend was laying there, and of course, wanting a new dog, I had conjured up all these wonderful names. And you know how you go through all the names and pick them like, yeah, this makes strong, and ooh, that's cute, and wow, that's sweet. Well, I went through all the names, and he just slept through every one of them. And I finally said, well, shoot, if you're just going to lay there like that, I'll just call you Friend. The minute I said that, which was his name in the last incarnation, he gets up as a little 11-week-old puppy, trots up over to me and is wagging his tail and looking at me. And I went, well, I guess that's your name. Plus, it was a confirmation sign. So we thank Erna from Belgium for asking that question. And that question was also from our group. So if you've got questions that are not personal readings, and the reason I'm saying that is because people have said, well, I listened to your show and they said send in questions. Yes, but not personal reading questions. And that's all I'm going to address that, because I think by now you get it. All right. Then another question that was fabulous is, when does a soul enter the body? Well, in a walk-in, it enters it immediately after death. It just crosses the death line, turns around, and goes back into the soul on earth that some people call the placekeeper. I call it the delivery driver, and go into that pet's body. A soul braid, the soul interweaves and interfaces, and that usually is a 2 to 3 month process. So that's longer for the soul entering a body. For a new body, the pet just goes into the new body. And someone had another interesting, fabulous question the other day, and it was Duga from Turkey. And her question was, if you have picked a dog or a cat or a horse, you know, this extends to all animals, or birds, because I had a wonderful reading with a bird the other day, and if you pick the wrong pet, will your reincarnated pet transfer his soul from the right pet to the wrong pet? The answer is no. Why? Because once a soul enters and integrates in a physical form, it's locked into that for that physical form. So if you pick the wrong pet and think it's your reincarnated pet and you miss the correct one, then there's not going to be a soul exchange to correct your error. Got it? There will not be a soul exchange. And there are a lot of people out there being misled that, oh, well, your dog will just take his soul out of that one and put it in the one you picked. Wrong. Another thing a lot of people say is, well, you just pick the puppy you want in the litter and your dog will put his soul in that puppy. Wrong. Because electromagnetically, your animal has already created a connection with the body it's going to choose. And your soul has already created an agreement to meet that specific body at that specific time, which is why the pet chooses an appropriate form to travel with you on this earth in that body. And that's really important too. A lot of people have said, well, can they come back as this or that or this? Yes, they can come back as anything they want. But the most important thing is they will come back in the most appropriate form for that level of your journey. And you'll notice on YouTube, you'll see me doing a live reading, and there was a dachshund, and he's coming back as he was with the woman as a cat when she was a young child, but now she has larger environs for him to be in, and he's a dog. And now when she goes into assisted living, he'll come back as a cat to stay with her during that time, because that will be a more appropriate form for them to share. Then another question is, that I thought was really interesting, is can your pet come back as a human or your human come back as a pet? Well, we did a radio show on that. And if you go to our pet reincarnation blog, which is that's Southern, www.petreincarnation.blogspot.com. We've got about 300 articles there and all sorts of information that's free for you to learn. And all you've got to do is just roam all over that. And it's really fabulous because people all over the world, we have about 3,000 people right now and growing every month on the blog. And every day it just grows more and more because people will tell their friends, hey, go look at the blog. And just take the time, put your word that you're interested in searching and in the search form, and it'll bring up all the articles that I've written on the term that you have entered into the search form. Also, we have lots of reincarnation stories in there that are real people, and those real people are in our group. And if you have questions for those people, just come on down to our group, do the little tag thing, and say, hey, Coco, I'd like to know more about your reincarnation with Joey. Or, hey, Diane, tell me about the twin flames of the pets that you have, and show me the pictures, because all of the folks that are in our group who have provided stories have offered to help you through your healing process and to help you understand the reincarnation journey. So we're all like a big pet loss family, and if you've suffered pet loss, I invite you to come join us. We've got lots of free resources, and I think it will, I know it'll just help, and it will help heal your heart. So for today, we're going to end on the cat's rainbow bridge, because those of you who are cat lovers going, well, why didn't you address cats? And I have trouble reading the Shelter Dogs Return from Rainbow Bridge because it's really, it just touches your heart and it makes me cry, so I wouldn't be able to read it and not cry. So I'll just read the cats, and then you can find them on our Return from Rainbow Bridge. You can find us over at Facebook in multiple avenues. Just go to the Animal Medium. I'm there. We put the radio shows on that. So if you say you can't find us, probably haven't looked enough, because we're everywhere. And the reason we're everywhere is so that we can expand awareness that reincarnation is real. And so we don't upset the cat owners out there and the horse owners. There's a poem for you. The shelter people, there's one for you. And the foster moms, there's one for you. And all of these are in multiple languages. So here we go. When a cat dies, his soul transitions to a special place in heaven called Rainbow Bridge. There he is alive and well, a part of never-ending love. He is whole, healed, and restored to perfection. He meets special friends and head bumps loved ones. They run, play, clean, and cuddle together. There is plenty of food, water, and sunshine. Everyone is warm, safe, and comfortable. He visits you in dreams with memories of the special times you shared. He is happy and content, except for one thing. He misses that special bond with you, the one he had to leave behind. He sends signs to let you know he is thinking about and watching over you. His soul is always by your side. He has never stopped loving you. Now I'm going to do a little interjection here in this poem. I did a reading the other day with a lady, and the cat was so insistent on being heard that he had wedged himself in her energy field. So for those of you who think that your pet is not by you after they died, they are doing wedgies in your energy field just to be with you. And the only reason that you don't know they're with you is the limitations you're setting in your mind that they're not there. Because the minute they cross the death line, they are gorgeous sparkler form. Gorgeous. And they're right there with you. So try and feel that in your heart, because they're there. They're trying to give you signs. They're trying to let you know they're okay. They're like right there. And for those who are even further interested in learning more about this, we're going to be doing animal reincarnation classes, and you can find that again on our Facebook pages. Now back to the Return from Rainbow Bridge for cats. But listen, when I say his soul is always by your side, in less than 2 seconds after they cross the death line, they are right back in your energy field. And you need to open your mind and your heart, and I know it's probably absolutely insufferable right now, but try, because they're there. And you don't have to have an animal communicator or me or anybody to talk to them. you can talk to them yourself. And that's one of the things that I have been trying to work with people, and I do want to share this with you. In my book, Animal Reincarnation, there is a whole 3 chapters on how to connect, communicate, and touch your pet and see them in spirit form on the other side. And it was really interesting the other day on our reincarnation group on Facebook. One of the girls was absolutely doing a squealy happy dance, and we said, why? And she said, I used the techniques in the book, and I actually got to see my pet's spirit. And that was my intent, to create those chapters in the book so that you yourself can get in touch with your pet, because it's your heart, it's your love connection, and it was you who suffered the fact that they're just trading bodies for a new form. So, sorry for that little interjection, but I think it's important because you can connect with them. Get the book. There's 3 chapters. You can talk to them, you can see them, and you can feel them, and keep working at it. It's not going to come easy. It's going to take about 2 weeks, and the more you grieve, the less you'll be able to get in touch with them. And I know that's counterproductive, and I totally understand that. Having lost my fiance, I couldn't see, think, or do anything for 7 years. But as soon as you give that up, then they can come to you, and you can sense them a whole lot quicker. And I think that the purpose of me writing the book is to dull that edge of your grief so you can communicate with them, and you can touch them, and you can see them out of your eye. Okay, enough of being on that soapbox. Here we go. Back to Cat's return from Rainbow Bridge. Then the day comes when your cat wants to be back. There are promises to keep. He quivers and sparkles with intent. It's time to return to earth. His energy vibrates faster and faster, forming a heart to be loved. He feels the pull of your prayers and your yearnings. He's strengthened by the power of your belief in never-ending love. Full of hope and faith, he leaves the safety of Rainbow Bridge. His soul begins the journey for the haven of your heart. In perfect timing, you find one another. Time stands still, and it actually does. For a split second, when you look at your returned pet, time stands still as you look into each other's eyes and to each other's soul. Your heart is etched with recognition. You just feel it. Cautiously, you move forward, filling the gaps that complete your bond. Your touch caresses their velvet head. Now, here's the key, and this is truth when you have a comeback kid, as we call them. All sadness is gone. It's just like every sadness you had, the minute you look in your pet's eyes and you know it, you're a reincarnated pet, all sadness is gone. It's just like God says, zip, and they take every bit of it out of your body. And for that split second, everything that you've suffered is like, that's over. And your heart is whole again. And for anybody who's suffered loss and felt the pain of death, you know that your heart isn't whole. And the minute you look into the eyes of your pet and you recognize one another, all sadness is gone, and your heart becomes whole again. And that's just a given, and it's a feeling that is the weirdest thing you'll ever experience, and it's the most joyous thing you'll ever experience. But it's real, and it's whole, and it just wipes out everything and makes everything okay. The rest of the poem goes, your cat has returned from Rainbow Bridge. Together you begin again in the eternal circle of life. Your love is here, it is now, and it is forever and always. And that's one of the things I really want you to focus on, is that love is never ending. It never leaves you. It just changes forms. So if you have any questions, send them to brent@petliferadio.com. If you want some lively global discussions, and we speak in Spanish and we speak in French, because the French book gets released in about 2 weeks. And we translate sometimes not real good, but we do have translators in our group, and those of us who speak English have to use Google, but Google's better than nothing. So we've got 3 different languages in our group going, which is French, Spanish, and English. And we do have a Portuguese translator also, so come on down over there. We're definitely global. And join those lively discussions and bring your pain, because I created the group to be a safe sanctuary for your thoughts and a healing haven for your heart. And nobody's going to think you're cuckoo, and nobody's going to think you're crazy, and you can say and do and talk about anything you want, and we'll all go, oh yeah, we've been there, we get it, we'll help you. And all of our members will help lift your wings back up so you can fly again. So on that note, I look forward to seeing you, and thank you for listening to our podcast today. I hope we've helped heal your heart. Bye-bye.
Let's Talk Pets, every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.